Hey guys, we're all here for talking about first time we beat Hardin-Simmons back in 2002. If you guys remember back, 99, we played them in a close ball game. They kind of got us there in the fourth quarter.
We dropped the pass.
Yeah, same thing in 2000. We played them tough. And 01, we really had them beat in 01. And Cody probably threw the best pass of his life that we dropped to beat those dudes. And then 02, man, we finally got over the hump. But going into the game, guys, what were your thoughts going into the game? What was your confidence level? Where were we at mentally? Schrader, you remember going into that game, what you thought?
Yeah, no, I was pumped. I mean, finally felt like I wasn't there in 2000, but my freshman year in 01, it was, we should have won the game. I mean,
yeah,
we outplayed them. So, and then in 02, you guys know, like we were just rolling. We were a better team. I know in 01, it was like all the scores were like 10-7, 21-14. But in 02, our offense was clicking. The defense was just, Preston and those guys and all you defensive dudes were just shutting people down. So, I mean, I thought it was, just time to go take it.
Yeah. What about you, Tony? What do you remember from that going into the game? What were your thoughts?
I remember that I think for the biggest change was I felt like we were pretty athletic on defense, and that's, they've been notorious for throwing the football, having skilled kids that are pretty talented, receivers, running backs, and honestly, quarterbacks at the time that were pretty dang good. But, I remember them being fast. They were always playing at a different speed than everybody we played all year long. But I finally felt that, besides probably me and Pat Meyer, everybody else is pretty dang fast in that defense. And and we had some, there was Trina and Loco and Mo. And I remember Leighton and Calvin and who else was the tackle? Darby. You had TJ Turner. I mean, we finally kind of started building, obviously getting to where you guys are now, where everybody's very, very talented physically. I thought we finally matched up better physically with their speed. And I think that obviously gave us some confidence to go hang with those boys and try to win it.
Yeah, Preston, you played them a lot and kind of know those guys and were in those battles those early years. Well, going into that game, what was your mindset like?
Well, that's kind of the thing is I've been there when things were a little bit lean. I mean, I wasn't there the first year, but I was there that second year. We were 4-6, and kind of as we progressed through it, I mean, I think you see the thing kind of start to build, and it was building towards that. Now it took us a few years to get over the hump, but going to that last year, I mean, I think we were pretty confident going into that game. Obviously, we respected those guys tremendously because they'd been on top for so long. But by the time we got to that point, we had several guys who had been through the battles, and through the tough times. And so it really just felt like it was our turn.
Tired of hearing that you couldn't do it, or hearing about them being the champs. Finally got to do something about it.
No doubt. I think we needed a good group of juniors and seniors, some older guys in those leadership roles to really help get us over the hump. L-Dub, playing in the trenches versus those guys, they always had those linemen that were like 5'11", 300 pounds, those squatty bodies, but they were strong and they could move you. Man, playing up front, man, going in that game, they were always talented at running back. What was your mindset like?
Physical. It was going to be physical every time. I mean, they had an All-American guard. I think his last name was Hernandez.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But you're right. He was like 5'11" and built, he was huge, extremely strong. And I mean, you just knew going into that game, you're going to throw your neck into somebody, 50, 60 times and just be prepared to battle. I mean, it's going to be physical. So I think, Preston kind of touched on it. The reason we were successful in that game is because we had a lot of young guys that had been through, my freshman and sophomore year, Tony's freshman and sophomore year. We had some guys that had been through two really big battles with Hardin-Simmons. And, we had that experience coming back. we kind of knew what to expect. We grew up a little bit, you know. We grew up a little bit, and we knew how to prepare, and we knew, you know, we knew who they were, you know, and we knew what to expect, and we knew what we're going to get into. We knew it was going to be a dogfight. So.
Yeah, and it's always a dogfight with those guys. Trina, like on the back end, you know, with you and Tony there on the back end, you know, they always got quarterbacks. And those receivers were always dudes. What was your mindset? What were you thinking?
Oh, just coming in, I know Coach Harmon was just like, we got to stop the tight end. So all week, my focus was basically trying to stop that tight end. And I mean, yeah, those guys, through my years of battling with them, I mean, they always had a group of receivers. No matter what you did, it seemed like at the right time, they always caught the ball. And I mean, no matter, you could be draped on them. I remember a time when I think it was Lorenzo. He actually had the guy's hand, arm, and the guy made a one-handed catch. And I was just like, this is Hardin-Simmons for you. But just going into that week, like all the guys said, I mean, we were very confident. I mean, coaches were very confident. I think that week we were actually pretty laid back, but we were focused, and we had a pretty good week, just practicing, knowing our assignments. And I think we were just ready to actually just get on the field and show basically the conference what we could do against Hardin-Simmons.
Yeah, I really think the team's confidence was an all-time high. I remember 2002, that was my first year as a graduate assistant when you guys were all playing. And as a coach, as a GA, I just knew we were ready. I was excited to watch you guys do it, you know, get over the hump. TJ, you're kind of in a unique position going into that game as the backup quarterback going into that game. Take us through, man, take us through your week of preparation, where you were mentally, what was your role, what was your perceived role going into the game? And obviously we all understand how it ended up, but going into the game, where were you at?
I mean, you know, the coaches always prepared us next man up. Could be your time. So, you know, we prepared as a backup, like you're going to start, you know, you could play one play away,
right,
for your number to be called. So I think our team had such depth at every position. I think everybody was ready, prepared, and focused, especially for Hardin-Simmons, that, you know, when the time came, it was seamless, I feel like.
Yeah. We all remember that first quarter, our starting quarterback, Cody, you know, he gets knocked out of the game. He's concussed. TJ goes in. And I want everybody's honest opinion. The clock killer, when TJ goes running out there on the field, what was everybody's mindset like? What was your thought process? Schrader, you know, good high school buddy, high school teammate, receiver, has that kind of connection. What were you thinking when TJ's out there now at quarterback?
You might get to catch the ball. Not block.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm pumped. I mean, you know, I'd played with TJ my whole somewhat adult life, I guess, or, you know, highly competitive, you know, varsity football in high school and then in college. So I knew the kind of mindset he had. I knew that, you know, he had no fear. But, you know, I knew that I was completely confident in him. And then just on my end, I mean, we had, you know, some good receivers. We had a great tight end, Walter Sharp. You know, our running backs always played phenomenal. So yeah, I thought it was going to be, you know, just keep the train rolling and, you know, maybe get to catch a few more passes, which, you know, we ended up doing. And I think maybe that was, you know, kind of divine intervention of maybe why we won the game. I don't know, but, you know, I was excited about it. It was fun. You know, we were ready to go with that first drive.
I remember divine intervention. I remember that. on several of those passes.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, TJ, I love you, but there were a couple that should have
Hey,
been
the first one
the other
was
day, and Austin came down with a couple of those. He made some incredible catches.
Hey, no, it was the first one, right? I let it go, and it's tip drill. Should have been picked. Straight catches. I was like, man, it's gonna be a good day. Let's let it fly, man. Luck's on our side.
Let it fly,
Hey,
man.
it was too.
It was,
man.
yeah.
It made it happen.
I think TJ's personality of not giving a darn and not really being, too tight wound up that he couldn't execute. I mean, fit for the moment. I mean, it was come in, like you said, let it fly and just the ball. I mean, there's no time to think about anything. You just had to go play.
No.
And that's what TJ did the best, just play.
And the gambler was born.
A lot of people on this deal, but that's what happened.
That's where we got the nickname, the gambler.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, and it helps to have some great receivers, great offensive line. I mean, the team was loaded, right? So you could gamble and win. So that's what happened.
Tony, did you get beat on that post in that game? That post that they beat you on every year?
I don't think so. I think the first 2 years I got beat, but not that year. We held them to 16 points?
I think it's 16, 17 points, something like that.
Yeah.
We doubled them up. It's like 42-17, or I can't remember.
Yeah, that's when it was fun. We knew we had it in the bag in the fourth quarter, and it started to be fun.
Yeah. What's y'all's biggest takeaways from that game? What's the big? Can you think back to 2002 and the big takeaway, the big momentum shift, the big play that kind of got us rolling that game? Do you guys can you guys remember back to, man, this play, man, I knew we had it, or man, we had them on this situation?
I think maybe I'm wrong, but is this the year that P. Meyer destroyed the jailbreak on empty?
Yeah.
I mean, that's it for me.
That's it for me as well.
Yeah.
Still to this day is the hardest hit I've ever seen. I told Meyer, that there was no doubt when I saw him last year, still this day, the hardest hit I've ever seen. I do football for a living. Was that hit in that game. And I think it set the tone that we had the baddest dude on the field on defense, right, leading our defense.
Damn
and
right.
we were going to be there all day. And
there's really a pretty funny story that goes along with that deal. Is about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, I ran into Alan Wordis at a coaching clinic. The offensive coordinator I'm sure you all guys know. He said, Preston, he goes, I got to know one thing. He said, how'd you know that play was coming? I was like, well, Alan, that's the only play y'all ran when you went empty. He goes, that's not true. That's not true. I said, well, it may not have been the only play, but it was the only one I could stop. And so, anyway, we got a pretty good laugh out of that deal.
Yeah. Like I said, that hit, kind of faking a blitz at the line of scrimmage, and then ball snaps, you drop out, and you light that dude up. I remember it was the last play before half, and I can remember we go running into the locker room with Lorenzo dancing along their sideline to celebrate.
I remember that.
And those guys walking into the locker room, and I knew then, man, we had them dudes beat.
Yeah, Lorenzo was doing the Dion high step.
Yep.
Trina was right back there with him. I think that was Trina's man that he got beat on, that Preston saved him.
Always. Yes.
Hey, they haven't been the same since, guys.
No.
That's fact.
No.
They haven't been the same since. We've been through some battles.
That was a hump.
That was the hit that changed it all. I mean, I think we're up like 20-3 at halftime and have all the momentum in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And they just got deflated literally on the field, going into halftime.
Yep.
And then I remember coming out, kind of giving the ball to, was it Kevin Mitchell?
Yeah.
Preach, right? Didn't Preach. I mean, how you rushed for 100 yards, something like that. John may know better than me, but I remember him having a heck of a game.
Yeah, I was going to say, too, that the play for me, too, was that pass that TJ threw to me was, you know, he had kind of just gotten the game. What was that, like the first or second drive?
Yeah, that was right
That was the first, man. Yeah, it was right off the bat.
And I always had this feeling because Hafner would come tell me, like, we're going to be like Florida and we're going to air it out and do these things. Like,
yeah.
one of the first plays he called was this, like, break go or whatever he called. And they kind of had it snipped out, but the dude just tipped it. And I was right there and I was like, okay. Cause that one play for me was like, it could have been an interception, and then, the game just kind of changes. Mm-hmm. Instead, we catch the ball, we get a first down. Now it feels like TJ's comfortable, offense is, rolling, then, we started handing the ball off. And I don't know, that was kind of the play for me on the offensive side that got us got me in the mindset of, okay, things are all good, and, we're going to be, we're going to go kick some tail.
Yeah, I think everybody believed, everybody obviously believed and had a strong sense that we were going to get this done, but you kind of needed to see it to truly believe, and that play kind of sparked it, and then it was on from then.
Yeah, I think there was one right before halftime where I threw it up to Roshan, and it was a jump ball, and Roshan mossed the guy, and I was like,
big gambler, baby.
Just keep going. Yeah, there's some great catches, man.
There were a couple big scrambles in the game, too.
Yeah. I think I actually ran for like more than 10 yards, which, that's pretty good.
Where's going to get cleaned out? But he's going.
Yeah. Someone's going to catch me. They didn't. I was like, what?
Yeah, right.
It was good, man.
Oh, that's funny.
And I have to say, the short pass to Austin, he's a lot faster in the game than he was at practice. That's why I was like, man, he ain't that fast. They're kind of short. He's like, run right past.
But TJ,
yeah, his boosters on.
TJ, who were you throwing it to in the back of the end zone? I think we had 46 Wolf, or I can't.
Man, I was throwing to you. You know that. You caught it. You caught it for a touchdown. I was throwing it to you.
I know. But I don't know if I throw it to Jarvis.
I don't know. They're crossing each other, right? So I was aiming for you in the back.
I mean, obviously beating Hardin-Simmons was
great. Was a big
I remember, didn't we have ETBU the next week on the road in Marshall?
And we played like dogs.
Yeah, I think it was like a touchdown. Yeah, we only won by 7 or something.
So Preston, we had a 4th and short, and we had to stop them on 4th and short, or our season was going to be over. I remember that. And all that winning that we did, all that Hardin-Simmons, all that celebration was about to go down the drain, and we stopped them on 4th and short. I can remember being in my stance and our entire defense screaming at them at the top of their lungs, just bring it. I mean, just
we got it done, didn't we?
Remember that?
We got it done, didn't we?
We got it done.
All right.
It's done.
Yeah. I remember Coach Fred, I think it was that game. Yes, it's that game. And it was at halftime. He walks up to me, and, Coach Fred, he limps over. Trina, are you going to play today? And it's just like, you're out there, you look like you're running in mud, son. And it was like, I just need you to run through someone. And I think the second half of that game, the first possession that they had, first defensive possession for us. And I don't know if the guy did a slant or whatever, but all I know is that I saw it and I ran through the guy. I didn't see the guy, I just saw the ball and I ran through the guy. And I think that kind of turned the light bulb on for us defensively in the second half, because the first half we were just going through the motion.
I remember that. I remember that game. I remember that, Trina.
Yeah, the many conversations that Coach Fred had with me was always, son, do you want to be here or what? What is going on? I need you to go and do it. And then I would just go out there, and for whatever reason, it would get done. And then he would just give me that look like, I knew you can do it all along.
Man, and y'all's wildest dreams when y'all were coming in as freshmen and just learning and whatnot to where you're at today, man, did you guys ever envision the success and the support, the facilities, everything that we got going on here at UMHB now? Did y'all ever really truly envision this type of success?
To me, as funny as it may sound, I think I kind of saw that all along from the first time I got on that campus, because it was such a special place. I don't know if everybody, kind of had the same ideas when they went there, but it just felt like a special place from the first time I set foot on campus, and most of it had to do with the people that were there. I mean, the facilities weren't there yet, the program wasn't there yet, none of that stuff was there yet, but there was some really special people at the university at the time that had a vision. And Pete, obviously being one of those people, had a very clear vision of what that place could be and should be, and ultimately became. And so in a lot of ways, I think that vision was there at that time.
He's right. I mean, the reason we all came, right? We came to join the quest, right?
Join the quest.
Hang up in the locker room forever until Galveston Beach one spring break. But this is like P. Meyer saying this is Coach Fred's vision. We didn't know what it was going to look like, what the end result would look like, but we at least knew that we had somebody leading us that was going a direction that he firmly knew there was an existence or there was an end game somewhere. And he just said, follow me. And he brought good people with him, obviously, with the legends on offense, Coach Hafner and Coach Nelson on defense. And then obviously Coach Harmon being, the guy, the next guy who was sitting there learning, soaking it all up, and brought the energy. And he brought the old cheek muscle pulsating, grind his teeth when he's pissed off at you because you didn't do your job, or he stares at you real bad. He gave you that look. You knew it. All right. I got it every day. He tried to fire me every day of my life for 4 years at that place. So I know it probably better than most. But got stuck with an old slow dude in the back.
Yeah, I think you said it earlier, that game, that Hardin-Simmons game kind of set the tone. But I think once, I had the luxury or the privilege of getting to coach and be a GA for 3 years there after I got done playing, and be a part of that run to the Stag Bowl, and then seeing us, end up in the third, fourth round of the playoffs kind of every year in and year out, So, you guys think about it. We got there, we started a program. 2 years later, we were contending for a conference title. 2 years after that, we were winning conference titles. And 2 years after that, we were in the national championship. And we've been there ever since. So, we've been a contender ever since. So, yeah, I think it's easy to envision it because of the success that we've had, right? It's easy to say, yeah, I saw that. But I think it all goes back to, Pete Fredenberg, and the leadership that he's shown us. He's taught us all so much, not just about football, but about life. And I'm indebted to that guy and really all the coaches that we had. And then it's just about you guys, right? It's about the people. It's about my teammates and, the family that we created. People don't realize this, but, the guys that I hang out with still to this day are guys that are on this Zoom call, right? It's a family, and it's a really special place, and I'm just really, really fortunate that I got to be a part of it. It's been great. It's been a wonderful thing to be a part of.
Yeah, and I think the brotherhood is exactly right on and off the field. We had each other's backs, and in every class that came in, they bought in. And it seemed to build and build and build and build, which is really special. It was never a letdown class. So it was like, whatever, I'm here for myself. Everybody bought in, and it just became what it is today, which is amazing. I know he had L-Dub doing some landscaping in the field house for a while.
Yeah.
So my freshman year, I was a punk, and I think I got in a fight or something in class, in the middle of class, real smart. And of course, I went and met with Dean Martin, and he gave me a lecture and told me what a bad person I was, and then he sent me out to the field house to do my community service to make up for all my bad deeds. And so my punishment, Pete said, "Look, you're going to go out there and you're going to get every weed out of the flower bed around the field house, every weed. Get out there, get on your hands and knees, and go pick weeds." I said, "That's great. I'm on it, coach." So I'm out there 4 hours, 5 hours. It's hot. I'm picking weeds and pulling weeds. And, I guess I should have told Pete that I really had never been in a flower bed before in my life. And so he comes out about 5 hours later, and I had pulled every flower out of that flower bed, every single one of them. And he looks at me, and I'll never forget it. He goes, "Son, can you do anything right?"
Then we finally got the ring, which was a huge deal,
And I immediately lost mine.
Yeah, do y'all remember?
Yeah.
Y'all remember the ocean and losing his within? We'd only had a what?
Not even 24 hours.
No.
Look how shiny it is. Oh,
it's like 2 hours. However long it took to drive to Belton to Galveston, about 2.5, 3 hours. You had it.
It's still down there somewhere in the sand, in the ocean.
Some old man's got it with his metal detector.
I got it with a metal detector or something
around his neck.
Yeah.
Probably picked it up and goes, "What's CRU?"
Those were fun times, no doubt about it. And, obviously, looking back on it, we might have not known at that moment, but looking back on it, that win, finally getting over the hump versus those guys, and not just beating them, but the way we beat them, because we really controlled that game from opening to close. That was really what I feel propelled us to the future and what we've been doing as of late, the expectations and whatnot. Like I said, in the moment, you might have not, we probably didn't realize that, but you look back on it, that was probably, what fueled those runs, and helped get us to where we're at now, if you really think about it.
Each generation kind of builds on the one before it, and we definitely built on the foundation that you guys laid, Jack. I mean, that first group of guys that started the program, 2 years before I got there, and Tony got there, and our class, TJ. I mean, each generation builds on the next, and it's just about protecting the code and carrying that tradition on. I mean, that's what the program's about, right? So.
Yep, no doubt.